If you've received a certified letter from the IRS, one that mentions a notice of federal tax lien or an intent to levy, you might be tempted to set it aside and deal with it later, but that single piece of mail could be the best chance you have to stop aggressive IRS collection activity before it starts. It's called your collection due process rights, or CDP rights, and ignoring it can cost you everything, from your bank account to your business income. Let's break down what CDP rights are and what happens when you miss the window. When the IRS intends to levy your assets or file a tax lien, they're required to send you several critical letters, such as a letter 1058 or an LT11, notice of intent to levy, or a letter 3172, a notice of federal tax lien. Once you have one of those, you have 30 days to respond by filing a Form 12153 and request your due process rights, or CDP rights. The CDP rights lead to a hearing that are your legal right to challenge the action, request a payment plan or other settlement, and most importantly, pause all enforced collections until your case is reviewed. It's your chance to buy time and negotiate before things spiral. So what happens if you ignore it? Here's where things could go wrong. Let me give you a real-world example. We had a new client come to us with nearly $400,000 in IRS debt. He'd received a levy notice but never opened it because, in his words, he wasn't ready to deal with it. By the time he called us, the IRS had already levied his business checking account, locking up payroll, vendor payments, and client refunds. And because the 30-day CDP window had closed, we couldn't stop the levy, only try to undo the damage after the fact. But it doesn't have to happen that way. If you owe a significant amount and the IRS is circling, timing is everything. Responding to the CDP notice within 30 days stops enforced collection, and it gives you the space to get your financials in order, build a payment strategy, and time payments around major events like a business deal, a real estate closing, or a liquidity event. Even if you don't plan to dispute the debt, CDP can buy you control, and sometimes that's worth more than a reduction in what you owe. Here's the bottom line. If you receive a 1058, LT11, or a lien notice, do not ignore it. That could be your CDP window, and once it closes, the IRS can levy wages, seize funds, and disrupt your life and business with no further warning. At Gordon Law, we help high net worth clients take full advantage of their CDP rights to protect their assets and keep the IRS off their back until they're ready to resolve more on their terms. If you've received a notice or just want to make sure you haven't missed your opportunity, reach out for a confidential consultation. And if this helped you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's sitting on a stack of IRS letters right now. We'll see you in the next one.